This is my first ever attempt at a oil portrait. Now, I have painted a full portrait of a face once before. And I've done 2 partial faces. So I'm still very, very new to painting faces, and I don't typically work in oil. I've touched it before, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but it was a brief, ew, I don't like that. And then I gave my paints away to someone who did use them. And then I've been stuck on acrylic, but a part of my journey that I really want to embrace is trying to push myself outside of my comfort zone and try new things. And I really want to do this because I'm terrified that I'm going to lose my ability to paint again. So I've only recently started painting again in the last few months. A few years ago, I lost the ability to paint completely. I just couldn't use the brushes. I couldn't hold them right. I couldn't remember how to mix paint. It was almost like everything I had ever known was just erased from my brain. And if I tried to paint, it was just nothing. It no longer worked the way it used to work. And this was a part of skill regression, which is common during autistic burnout periods. And I was in a severe burnout for several years. And at that point in time, I didn't know I was autistic, and I didn't know I was in burnout. So I didn't really understand why I had such an odd experience with painting, and no one I talked to really understood it either. Art was always the way I was able to process the world. So losing art was quite detrimental to me, especially in a period of burnout when turning to art was what I wanted to do more than anything else. So coming back to it now after several years just still doesn't feel real sometimes. And with every painting, I feel like it's gonna be my last. So never painting with oil before, I didn't really know. I knew it took longer to dry, but I didn't know how long. I knew it was more of a blending medium than acrylics, but I wasn't sure how blendy. I just was really playing around with this portrait, and I wasn't quite sure if I was doing something right or wrong. And I ended up really liking how this painting turned out. And one of the wild things I did was I live streamed this on my YouTube channel right here. And that was also intimidating because not only is this my first portrait, my first oil painting, my first attempt at hyperrealism, but also like I did it live. And I was so scared that I was going to end up with nothing. But I think that's a part of the fun of the journey, is never knowing where you're going and what it's going to look like in the end. But this painting really made me excited to paint again, and it was something to where I just kept wanting to get back to it, and I have felt so inspired and so excited to play with and try something new and expand my ability and to grow as an artist, because I never like settling. I constantly want to grow and learn and continue to appreciate new forms of art that I never have before, like oil painting. I've always thought oil paintings look really nice, but I never really appreciated the skill and time that goes into that patience you need to wait for the layers to dry, unlike acrylic painting where I can just sit there and go and go and go and go until I'm done. As this journey progressed, I was just really thankful that I know I'm autistic now, and that I know what burnout feels like. And I am not gonna lie, I've definitely been tiptoeing the edge of burnout recently. And when I start to feel burnt out, it's something that I'm so scared about. I'm so scared that painting will disappear. And during this period of time where I'm starting to feel the overwhelm come on all over again, and just all this pressure from, you know, my personal life to the world to my career. It's just one of those things that I am so determined to not lose painting this time around. And this YouTube channel started off with me painting, and the more and more I progressed in my journey, I fell in love with writing books, which was a savior to me when I couldn't paint anymore, because I ended up writing a trilogy series. It's a young adult series called the Diablerie trilogy, and the first book, Tolerant, is out. And I spent years working on that when I couldn't paint, but I could type. And now I feel like I have accomplished something else by writing a novel series. And now I feel like I finally have healed enough to come back to art. And I am just hopeful to continue to grow as an artist. And I hope this serves as inspiration for everyone, whether you're autistic or not. You know, that's not the point of this. The point is to try something new and to get outside of your comfort zone, and knowing that there are going to be times that things just don't work out as you plan, and there's going to be curveballs. But I can't believe I have painting back in my life. I never really thought it would be back here again, especially on this channel. Like, I ended up hiding and privating all my painting videos because I was so scared if anybody's seen I painted. I didn't want them to even know, because I couldn't do it anymore. But what I find really fascinating is, after coming out of that period where I couldn't work on art, not even illustrating for the children's books, I have a whole new style, and it's exciting to learn who my hands are now and what they've become over these 4 years. I don't know how they've learned anything, but somehow, you know, they're working differently than they did before, which is okay, because now I have a new style to explore, and it's exciting and adventurous to try and figure out where my work is going to turn next. What is it going to do? It's almost a surprise to me sometimes. So I've really enjoyed painting this. Thank you for those of you who sat in the live stream with me, and thank you for those who are following here or liking these videos or leaving comments of encouragement. I really appreciate that so much more than I can possibly put into words. It really means a lot to share this journey with you, and to be able to share my work with you. It just feels like such a gift. So if you've been waiting to try something new, this is your sign. Go try it. And even if it doesn't work out, that's okay. The journey is about learning. And I still want to change a million things with this painting, despite me being pretty proud of it. So I always think there's room to grow, and thank you for being with me and going with me on this journey. It's meant a lot. I'll see you all soon.